So the terms lightworker, indigo children, crystal children, star seeds, although they're slightly different in what they mean, they're all really associated with New Age terms, New Age teachings. But truthfully, they're really just words that describe old souls, or generally what are considered to be old souls, that have come back to Earth in order to help. So it might just be a small amount of people, it might be a large amount of people, other souls basically, to ascend. Now, what often happens is that many people will either title themselves as a light worker, or people who don't consider themselves to be light workers will look at light workers as if they're narcissistic or egotistical. And sometimes those people are, because often when you give yourself a title such as light worker or indigo child or crystal child, it often gives the ego this sort of platform to feel as though you're better than everyone else, or you're special, or you're different. Now, those things are completely wrong, and it's not the case. No one is different. Everyone is exactly the same. We've all come from the same place, and we're all returning to the same place. Now, the difference in this term that we use, light workers, which I don't actually enjoy using, by the way, but I know that most people understand what it is, or that it's associated with what I'm sharing in this video, so I'm going to keep using it. But the way that I tend to look at what a light worker is if you look at the school system in Western society. In the UK, we have primary school, which is kindergarten, then middle school, then high school. And at the end of that, you're considered free. You can kind of go into the world, go get a job, go traveling, go do what you want. The way that I'm using this and how I'm linking it with spirituality, let's say that when you finish school, you're free. That's you liberated. So in the spiritual world, we come down as a soul to have this human experience, and then we return to the source from where we've come from. Even when I say that, it gives off the impression that we're somehow separate from source when we're here. We're not. We're one with God at all times, but we have the experience of individual consciousness. It makes us feel as though we're separate. So that's what I'm getting at. But if you imagine that a light worker is a soul who is coming towards the end of their school life. So they might be in the last year of high school, and they've still got learning to be done. They've still got things to work through and understand. But they've been asked by a teacher in primary school to come back in order to just help some of the kids in primary school or in kindergarten to move on with their journey. And it's very much like that with light workers. Light workers are souls who still have work to be done, still have cleansing to be done, and lessons to learn, but they're coming towards the end of their cycle. But they have come back to complete their journey and their cleansing and the work that they need to do, whatever that may be. It'll be different for every soul. And also to help, and again, this is going to be different, to help people around them. And it might be on a big scale, it might be on just a small scale, or what appears to be a small scale. It's never really that small. If you help one person, that one person may go on to change the lives of 50 people. And those 50 people may go on to change the lives of another 50 people each. So you can see how it appears small on the surface, but it's never really that small. And these light workers may take on the form of a nurse. They may take on the form of an artist, of a meditation teacher, of a yoga teacher, of a Reiki teacher. Generally, it's some kind of role like that where you're impacting people through either your love and care or through upskilling them with spiritual teachings, spiritual knowledge. Generally, it's those kinds of roles, but they do, there's no line at which this stops. Everyone will have a different unique skill, a different unique aspect that they're bringing to help other souls. Now, as I mentioned at the start, where this can go wrong or get kind of mixed up is that many people feel as though they're special or different or better than other souls because they've come down for this special role. The divine has spoken to them and said, no, you're the only soul that can possibly do this, so you need to go down. You're the one. And of course, if anyone thinks like that, it's becoming an ego trap. We're all exactly the same. It might be that some souls have been here 100 times more than other souls, and so they've got much more experience that they can come back with in order to help souls that might be younger. That's all it really is. You know, you wouldn't consider the high school student any better than the kindergarten student or the primary school student. You just know that there's an experiential difference. One has been through that experience themselves and has learnt some of the lessons and can come back and help other people. You know, it's like if you go to climb Everest, even if you just go to base camp, there are people that will walk you to base camp. They're not necessarily summiting Everest, but they have got enough experience and knowledge to take you to base camp. So I think the light workers are very much like this. They're souls like all of us are, but they may have extra experience or knowledge based upon previous lives and the things that they've done and learned to be of use to other souls here on planet Earth and help with the transformation that is taking place at the moment in this specific time. I personally think that it is a gift from Source, gift from God, that souls have been allowed to come to help, because the divine is infinite and it obviously has all of the potential and all the ability to change anything whenever the divine wants to. But I think out of the love that the divine has for us and the fact that the divine doesn't want to interfere with our free will, they are willing to allow other souls to come down to help their fellow brothers and sisters. If you're someone who feels as though this could be you, what are the signs? What are the things that may be obvious or a marker that can help you to identify whether this is you? And by the way, I would not look at labeling yourself as this. There's no need to. It becomes an ego thing very quickly. But just for the sake of understanding your own inner self a little bit more, I think it can be helpful in this context. But generally, I've noticed people who I've spent time with, who I consider to be light workers, are drawn to animals. They're quite drawn to just helping people. They're very outward in the way that they are. They think of other people a lot. They have this inner desire to teach or share something that is unique to them. I think also they often look with confusion at a lot of the social norms that many people just go along with. You know, the masses, so to speak, never question a lot of things and don't look at things from this unique perspective that I've noticed some light workers do. Many light workers will look at certain social norms and just think, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why are people doing it that way? Why aren't they doing it this way? And they break the norms. They do things differently. They think differently. So they're needed in society to make change because they have fresh perspective. They have experience which helps them to see things differently and see through some of the mistakes or the ways that we're doing things that might not be conducive in the long term. But the important part of this video and the important message that I want to make absolutely clear, which I keep emphasizing, is that light workers are no different to any other soul out there, other than the fact that they may be older, they may have been here more times, they may have more experience in that sense, but they're no better, they're no different. They shouldn't consider themselves different or better. They should consider themselves one as everyone else is, one with each other. And as Dolores Cannon very rightly said, old soul equals slow learner. So in many ways, people who are old soul need to get a move on and actually need to get their backside in gear and start learning the lessons that they've obviously not been picking up. I love the way she says that. It squishes the ego of many people that say, oh, I must be an old soul. I must have been here many, many times. You should listen to me. You know, I don't like any of that. I don't think it's helpful. But I hope the video has been helpful for you today. If you're interested in being part of my online school, I teach meditation and I help people create a direct path to the divine. If you're interested in being part of my online school, I'll leave a link in the description below. But failing that, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.